Okay, please turn to page, let's see what it is, 447. This is lesson 2, multiplication and division equations. So we're still solving equations by balancing the equation and getting x isolated. That means we want our answer to have the x all by itself on one side of the equal sign, and we want it equal to something else. That's what it means to solve an equation. We want to isolate x. We want to get it alone. So the expression 3x means 3 times the value of x. The numerical factor of a multiplication expression like 3x is called the coefficient. So let's circle 3. That is called the coefficient of x. Okay, so we're going to look at our algebra tiles again, and we're going to illustrate the equation 3x equals 6. So we've got 3 x bars equal to 6 ones. Now, yesterday, to get x by itself, didn't we have these little ones clinging on here that we had to subtract to get to the other side? Well, today we don't have any of those cling-ons to add or subtract. Instead, hopefully you can see that we've got 3 x's and we only want 1 x. So mathematically speaking, we are going to have to divide this whole thing by 3. We're going to divide it into 3 equal parts. And as you can see, that's why they circled these 3 equal parts. When we divide this whole thing by 3, each group is equal to 1x equals 2. So 3x equals 6 is equivalent to the equation x equals 2. And that would make sense. If each of these x bars was equal to 2, when we have 2, 2, 2, we would have a value of 6 on this side, and we have a value of 6 on this side. Okay, so let's write the equation we see here. So we have 3x plus, equals, 3x equals, and the other side is 12 ones. Okay, so what is our coefficient? Well, our coefficient is the number in front of the variable, so our coefficient is 3. So we have to figure out what one of these x's is equal to. So we have to divide this into 3 parts. So when we do that, divide it into 3 parts, one of those parts is x equals 4. So our solution is x equals 4. Let's do the same thing here. Our equation is 2x equals -8. Our coefficient is 2, which means we need to divide this into only 2 parts. And when we divide it into 2 equal parts, our solution is x equals -4. So as you can see, our coefficient is telling us how many parts we have to divide this into. Okay, please turn the page. The top of the next page is talking about the division property of equality. If you divide both sides of an equation by the same number, your equation is still going to be equal. So if we look here, we have the solution, or the equation 20 equals 4x. So we want just 1x. So the process of doing that, and I'm going to require that you do this, we're going to use this line as division. We're going to divide by 4 and divide by 4. We have divided both sides by the same amount. And when you have 4 x's and you divide it by 4, aren't those 4's going to cancel to a 1? And we're left with x equals 5. If you look down here at this equation, don't let the -8 fool you. We have -8y's equal 24. So we have -8y's, and we just want one of them. So we have to divide them into -8 parts. So we're going to divide both sides by -8. We're going to cancel out the -8 because -8 divided by itself is equal to 1, and we get y equals -3. Okay, so do A, B, and C, and this is the work I'm expecting to see. We're going to divide both sides by 6, so we're going to use that horizontal line to show division. Then I want you to show that 6 divided by 6 cancels to 1. If you want to put little ones there, you can, but it's 1x equal to 30 divided by 6 is 5. So please show your work on B and C and show that to me when we're finished. Okay, we're going to go to the middle of the page. Multiplication property of equality says the same thing. If you have an equation that's equal, if you multiply the same number on both sides, it's still going to remain equal. All right, so why would we possibly need to multiply? Well, let's look at this equation. A divided by -4 equals -9. And our goal is to get A equals something. So what do we have to get rid of on this side of the equation to get A by itself? And I often ask kids, I say, what's happening to A? Isn't A being divided by -4? How do you undo dividing? You multiply. So the inverse operation of division is multiplication. So if we multiply this side by -4, remember that's really -4 over 1. And you see that we can cross reduce. We have a -4 in the numerator times a -4 in the denominator, and those cancel out. And if we multiply by -4 on one side, we have to on the other, and we get A equals 36. Okay, big pet peeve of mine is how they set these up because they don't give you enough room to show work. So I'm going to show you what I want to see for E. So find the variable. Y is being divided by -3. So how do you undo dividing by -3? So we're going to put a big multiplication sign right here. We're going to multiply by -3. So we're going to multiply on this side by -3, and we're going to multiply on this side by -3. The way we wrote it here, you should be able to see that -3 and -3 are going to be able to cross cancel. And we're left with y equals -8 times -3 is a positive 24. So y equals 24. Okay, you're going to continue and show F and G, show your work. So we're going to change that to a multiplication, and you're going to show what you multiply on this side and what you multiply on this side. Okay, so you are going to continue doing that work. When the video is over, show me what you did there, and then I'll give you your book assignment.